guys, it is I'm doing a beauty pie order right now as we speak. And I know you're like, how do you get it? Well, we ship it to America and then we pick it up. Basically, yeah, we smuggle it in. Is that illegal? Yes, it is. But do I care? No, I don't.
No, I'm just gonna zoom in a little, but you're such a good girl.
I know because you did it. She said, Nat's done it. You have to do it too. I said,
did I send it?
Yeah. She said, I have Nat's. You need to do yours. I'm like, okay.
Oh, I did it. I actually did it.
You did it.
Oh my gosh. And I also did another thing. Like I was like, but beauty pie, I wanted to try a few, like, we go through all the stuff that we love.
Yeah.
And I needed some refills. And then I wanted to try a couple of new things.
Yeah. Oh, new things.
Yeah. Might as well. And I wanted, I love their forest green makeup cases.
Yep.
And they have like a smaller version, like a leather one.
Oh.
So I asked, I'm going to get 3. 1 for my brushes, 1 for my makeup, and 1 for my skincare. Because in my dream, I'm organized.
Okay.
And then in my little dream last night, I went into the bathroom and I put all my stuff in the stuff. And then I got rid of all the stuff that I didn't need. And under my sink looked so organized.
You did that last night?
No, in my head, I did it.
I was like, what is wrong with you?
In my head, I was
like, wow.
Gonna do that.
And you didn't do it.
But when I get the green cases,
you're going to do it.
But if the green cases don't come, I'm not
You're not going to do it.
She's not going to do it.
I mean, I wish the best for you.
Thank you very much.
I wonder if it's going to happen. What do y'all think? My favorite is like the shiny, what are they called? I'll tell you guys. Hold on. It is the Wonder Gloss.
Like the sticks? Like for your lips or for your eyes?
My lips.
Yeah.
I like the Wonder Glosses.
Yeah.
So I'm going to get those too. Welcome. We have a kid here. So
I told him, well, first of all, I told him we might say inappropriate things, but he said that's nothing new.
Well, I may kick him out in a minute.
I told him that you would do that. I said, you can stay. And I said, but Cat probably won't have it. So if I were you, I would hide in the bathroom. And then when we get started,
he's in my
But
peripheral.
then I said, she's got the chair where Tucker, we had this whole conversation, right?
We can't have a spy.
I said, I'm pretty sure that she's not going to allow it. But you can give it a go.
You can give it a go. Welcome. It is a Tuesday. And I guess we have next week's done, by the way. So we have...
This didn't used to happen. You must be too close to the wall.
I'm too close to the wall, but I'm fine with it. I'm totally fine with it. I'm going to be close to the wall and I'm fine with it. I am reading a new book. Okay. I know. It's an audiobook, but... You like when I do that, don't you?
I mean, it makes me feel so much better because I think that potentially, if you really sell me on it, that I might actually read it too.
Okay. Well, I have ironic about the book because I'm listening to an audiobook. But
don't tell me it's like...
Well, hold on.
Is it sexy?
No.
Oh, it's educational?
One person wrote us. Did I save it? Did I erase it?
Is it sassy?
No. Someone wrote us in our DMs and I cannot believe I've lost it and I wanted to screenshot
the author that I messaged?
No. About our book. And I thought it was about mom secrets. And I thought to myself, she wrote basically, I wish I could find it. Thank you so much for being so vulnerable at this point because I feel like no one's talking about what you guys are talking about. And I believe our book is more pertains to moms with teens and tweens. So I feel like...
Sorry, are you listening to our book?
No, I'm not.
That would be amazing. I'm going to go listen to our book.
She basically was like, I'm in tears reading this. I don't feel alone. And she's like, just thank you for talking the way you're talking. And then I was like, it is so true that our book came out earlier than
people were being... It was like... It was more racy back then.
So now they need to read it and be like, oh, we were ahead of the curve.
Yet again.
I'm call myself that.
You can.
And I thought Mom Secrets, we should almost do a resurgence. It's almost like a common parent collab because I thought we share our teenhood in a way that is very... She was like, no one's talking about this.
I think also like it's really, when we talk about our teenhood and we are honest about the situation and then you see who we are now, for people with teens, it can give them hope that just because your kid is doing some very, very naughty things, it doesn't mean that they're going to not grow up to be a morally like I don't know, like
I'm trying to, you can
amazing,
search.
amazing person, and that big fuck ups don't mean that it's a fuck up for the rest of your life. Because I think that when you have teens and they're doing these things, you think to yourself, well, that's the end. Like they're a bad kid and it's never going to work out. But when we tell our stories, it makes people feel like, oh, well, they're normal.
Yeah, I just have to give you the biggest thank you ever for the last chapter in Mom Secrets. I've had such a difficult time with my older kids lately. I have even confessed to my husband tonight that I've been feeling like I'm starting to resent them. I couldn't keep my eyes dry reading the chapter. Just thank you. Thank you for the words of encouragement and being so vulnerable with parenting topics that are not talked about enough. That's basically that whole book.
Do you remember what the last chapter was?
It honestly feels like a load has been lifted. Ugh, well, thank you. That's all I have to say. And she's like the whole book
but she said the last chapter because it's a note to our younger selves. Like, giving yourselves grace and permission, and to just like this, what you're dealing with now is not the rest of your life.
I know. So I thought, oh my gosh. So I have started an audiobook because I take the dog on the walks, and sometimes it's just boring to walk. What? Oops.
Yeah. Excuse me.
I'm looking for some new viewers, if you will.
Yeah, you better get a zoom in there, lady cakes,
I wasn't
baby
in the
cakes.
camera, so now
those are some bustling boobies.
That is a new bra.
Whoa, and a deep V. I like it. Oh my gosh.
You have to go to YouTube and check it out. Anyways, and yeah, it's our OnlyFans on YouTube. Cat Nat's Mummy Podcast with boobies on the platter. Yeah, you got to work on that.
I don't have any.
We got to work on that. Anyways, the book. Okay, so it is about potential versus talent. Reaching one's potential. Now, this guy, Malcolm Gladwell, he didn't write it, but he's like, this book is something I can't stop thinking about. He's the kind of a guy who writes he's kind of a guy who writes a lot of books about.
Are you talking about Malcolm right now, or the author of your
Malcolm?
Book? Okay.
He's a legend. That's not the right word. But
sure. I mean, he writes
like life, like
epiphanies of
life rather than. So this guy he wants to like land the plane and not philosophize, because philosophers, they like to argue over what the things.
What's right and wrong.
And he's like, I don't want to do that. I want to like tell the philosophers, like, this is what's happening based on what I'm watching and witnessing and reading the evidence of the science. Malcolm's kind of the same way, because he philosophizes, but he also has facts and then backs the facts up. Same thing. Same with this guy. Good news, bad news. What do you want first?
About potential? About
life and potential.
I mean, there's really no bad news, so let's start with that.
Okay, so I'm only in the third chapter, so I've got, but the whole, he starts with this huge study in the beginning, and they found people. I'm gonna have to really go back.
We're
and find
here with
this.
you. We're patient.
Children,
yes,
who had really good kindergarten teachers who loved kindergarten and taught them the way to learn, ended up growing up and making, like, over time, $300,000 more money than the people who did not experience kindergarten well.
Mm-hmm.
Then it goes on to kind of opening up the way they learn and why.
Question, side note. Do you remember your kindergarten teachers, and did you have a good experience?
I actually do remember my kindergarten teacher, which is so crazy. And I think I did. I just remember they used to make me nap, and I'd hate napping. They used to bring cots out. That was a thing in
kindergarten.
Yeah, and I was like, I
never napped. Oh, my kindergarten was only a half day.
Same with mine, probably. Or I probably.
And there was a nap in there.
I don't remember that.
You must have gone to a daycare, because our kindergartens were half day.
Yeah, that's true.
And the cots are in daycare.
So I'm sure that's actually exactly what happened. So I do remember kind of like the early years, and then they were just talking about basically. They say kindergarten matters so much. The bad news of that is, I personally have a child who's missed kindergarten from COVID, and they are still factually dealing with the effects of those children missing kindergarten.
Mm-hmm.
Factually. Mm-hmm. Like, studies are now showing her grade is, and Lisa Damore said to one of my kids' school, I do not envy any parent or any teacher with a grade 3 right now. I do not envy them, because it's a shit show. I think she's doing okay, but but I do know a large portion of her class is struggling with reading and writing.
Mm-hmm.
And they're saying it's not about actually reading and writing.
Mm-hmm.
It's the love of learning and like this idea of keeping your mind open. And so it goes on. And then he did a study to find out that everyone caught up by grade 4 and 8. So everyone eventually catches up to where they're at. But the skills they learned in kindergarten of how to learn is the things that have kept them going through in life. That it's like hardcore skills.
Side note, I actually remember kindergarten, Mrs. Dowsett and Mrs. Laurie, and my memories of kindergarten.
They're really special teachers. They are special teachers.
Are everything. I mean, I can visualize so much. My classroom was so big. It was a double room. And I remember the fruit plate being passed around. And all my memories of kindergarten were so good.
Yeah. So it wasn't about... They then go on to a study to show how there's a school where they teach chess from a very young age, and they're like prodigies. And they go and
what kind, like where's
it's
the
like the
United
School of
States?
Dalton, it's called. And they go and they become like chess prodigies. They do chess, they learn it. They think that if you know how to play chess, you are like, this is how
that's strategy for life.
That's how you do life. And I think you have to try out to get in, and you have to have a certain brain to do chess. And they go and they go and they go. Okay, so they are like, they go to the nationals and they usually win the whole chess thing. And it's like this whole ideology of chess. This other group comes in. They're grade 6s. They're from vulnerable households, and they learn how to play chess in grade 6, 7, and 8. They've never played chess in their life. One they tell their stories of one being basically like the class bully, like just really harder lives than someone who's gone to a private school at the School of Dalton, where it's like so much money and chess is like the thing. So this guy who's passionate about teaching chess there's no prerequisite. Y'all just come in and you play chess, and he teaches them, and they end up at this championship. And the way he teaches them is he's encouraging them to just sort of play and try and learn, and rather than strategy. And some would argue it's a game of strategy where you have to, right?
I think everyone would argue it's strategy.
Well, except this guy.
Oh.
He teaches them how to win and then play backwards rather than how to win. So he's teaching them how to work backwards rather than how to strategically go this way.
So they're strategically going backwards.
He's just like, try. This is what.
But
this
do
is
it this way.
This is what makes a winner. How are you going to get there? So you have to like get 4. I don't even know how you play, but like 4 kings or 4 queens. Like you have to crown them. You have to do the thing. And so now try to figure out how to get there. Lets them just kind of go buck wild. They go into the national thing, and lo and behold, they begin to like kind of kick Dalton's ass, and everyone's like, they're called. I forget what they're called.
This should be a movie.
So they're and it's like 3 rounds, okay, and you keep like versing, and you get to drop your lowest scores. They don't have enough players to drop their lowest scores at the underdog, so they're just kind of like, we have to take every score. We can't drop someone who maybe isn't having a good day. So they go in. They win the first round. They're like, we won. Second round, next day, they go back again. They begin to fall apart. They're almost winning. And then you just see them crumble. Their teacher's just so frustrated. He's like, I just had to walk out. I couldn't even watch them anymore. Third day, they have to like basically clean house, and the other team has to fall apart for them to even like
and the other
get
team
there.
Being like the Dalton kids.
Yeah, who are like trained from a very young age.
Yeah.
He gives them a speech being like, you know what? I don't care how this ends. No one even expected you to get a win. Just fucking go have fun and do what you know how to do, and like be proud of yourselves. Basically just like, fuck it. Just like, good luck. Like, who cares? They walk in, fucking crush everybody, and win the whole thing with 3 years of like limited experience. And
what did the Dalton school say? Did it go bankrupt immediately?
Well, two beautiful things is that, number one, because of their backgrounds, they opened up a whole new ideology of chess, and now I think they've increased not the sport, but the game of chess to a whole bunch of different backgrounds that before was dominated by one area, and now they've opened it up to all backgrounds, diverse backgrounds. And second of all, it was how he was I believe a Jamaican immigrant who was their coach, and believed that kids in different communities, lower incomes and different communities, deserved to play too. This shouldn't just be a one type of sport. This should not be a rich sport. This should be an all type of sport. So he teaches them, and now they basically, then they base the book off that is potential, because there was talent and you had to get in for that school to play chess.
Mm-hmm.
But fucking, they kicked their ass based on potential and the way they thought about potential versus you are talented in this sport, in this game, in this thing, so you should get into the school. Technically, they should have won because they had every strategy, every training, everything possible to them, and they didn't. So the whole book is based on that. So I just got to keep going to unlocking potential and why superstars. They've done studies of all the famous people, tennis people, neurologists. Great news is the neurologists and the really smart people right now were basic grades in grade 7 and 8. Basic grades in high school. Basic.
Well,
nothing like they weren't scientists. They weren't winning competitions. Pianists. The
pianists.
They also weren't winning. They were gifted between their family and their neighbors, but they were not gifted in competitions. And now they're world renowned. So the gifted people fall down. The gifted in the areas, the natural born people. And when you can find the people with the potential,
mm-hmm.
and the potential has a whole bunch of characteristics in it and not character like we think, that's the winners right there. That's what makes them carry through in life. And I was like, oh, wow. So they're talking about character in a very different way than we're used to. Of like us being like, make sure you say like your cores. It's not like that.
Your cores?
Like your core values. Like what do you stand for? It's not, it doesn't matter where you go to school. What does, but what is it in, what are we teaching them? And the way your kids learn and who believes in them and how you foster them is one of the most important things to continue them in their success rather than being smart, being fast, being a super good talent. And I was like, oh, that's great news for a lot of parents. Terrible for some though.
I mean, I guess if it doesn't sound good to you, then you can always think that if it doesn't fit what you want to hear, there's always the exception to the rule.
Well, I think that some people think that because their kid is XYZ, they will become XYZ. Because my kid is gifted in school, they will definitely get this in life. Or because
it's so funny. I got a text yesterday. He has lots of potential with 4 exclamation marks. Like that word. That's just so funny.
There you go.
You know what I mean? So many weird things are happening right now.
Tell me.
Like, I just feel like just you talking about potential and then someone literally texted that word potential. I feel like people are talking about things and things keep happening. Like, I feel like, I mean, you know, too, it's like, I feel like the world is like, it's like there's a lot of whispers going on.
Whispers. Are you going to ride it or jump on the whisper?
We're going to jump on the pony and ride it.
Ride
so
the
many,
whisper.
like, because, you know, sometimes you're like, everything sort of doesn't feel like it's going together. But if things seem like they're a coincidence over and over and you're like seeing all that's when you know that the universe is on your side and it's all working together.
I want to know
coincidences.
When can I talk about that other let me just see when this goes live. 23rd, one more week, and then we can talk about everything else. Like our situations. Once it's March 1, are we good to go?
Oh, and then we're going to do the bonus, and we're actually going to call all of the partners up that ever
No, we can't. No, we won't.
Yep, we're going to call them out without saying them.
I mean...
Yeah, we're allowed to talk about it.
I mean, without saying their name.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't really even matter who it is. I wouldn't even say some of it's the partners. I would say it's honest to goodness. I was thinking last night in one of the situations. I was like, there's a few people where I'm like, they just don't like us. They just don't like us without talking to us. They don't like us. Okay. And I'm thinking to myself, when I see certain events or when I see things we're not invited to, which I'm totally fine with, by the way, I think to myself. Sorry, just a little background there. We live in Toronto. Canada's a small place. There's a lot of PR events and parties and galas and things. And we see them on social all the time, and everybody's invited.
Trips.
Vacations, trips. You know, they send everybody to some beautiful place, and a brand sends them there, and they have this experience, and they're not necessarily paid to do it, but they're invited. We are almost always not invited.
So I have two philosophies of this. I think we're very naughty. And brands, if you're a brand who doesn't get it, like I feel very bad for a lot of brands right now because I think they're being steered in the way wrong direction. Like if you're hiring people who have a marketing degree from school, from university, I mean, like what they've learned's already it's already done and changed, and it's already moving on. Like when I hear what people are doing, I'm just like this. Wow, you should have consultants who are in the space who can tell you what's coming up, not people who had degrees who don't know what the fuck is going on.
Mm-hmm.
I just watch and I'm like, so I think that for some people they have to be like, okay, well, they swear and they say dick, so no, they're a no.
So no, they're not invited to the tequila party.
Well, that one's fine, but like the other ones, I know where you have to, because it's really these people who are vetting us who, it's not really a brand. Sometimes people are like, oh, you've been in my presentation. But it's a no, or they don't know the brand. They just see one thing online. I don't know. I just feel like people are, if you're the head of a company and you are trusting a team you hired who just went to university and got a degree, you're an idiot. Is that me?
No, but it's so funny because it reminds me of when we were in high school, and our school was it was a technical school. So meaning that you could learn trades, and a lot of kids that go there had no intentions of ever, either they were in a general level, so they could never even apply to university, but it was very much catered towards all kinds. And I remember like going to the information sessions and all of them very much pushing like and trying like letting everyone know that like you don't learn anything at you unless you're becoming a doctor or a lawyer, whatever schools that you need to go to after university to learn how to actually do something. They were like, you don't learn anything when everyone's just taking a general whatever. You are buying yourself 3 or 4 really fun years.
Yeah.
Potentially. And spending a lot of money. But they were like, if you go to a college, you're going to actually learn to do something to get a job. And I remember I was so young and I didn't have a friend who wasn't going to university. So I didn't know. I wasn't talking to you at that time.
Yeah, I didn't want to talk to you either. Let's take a quick
Actually,
break.
that would have been really helpful, by the way.
Take a quick break. You did call me, by the way, about the course. Yes,
that
you
was
did.
way after.
Oh,
that was
okay.
after I was already done my first college.
Okay.
I'd already...
Because I was only 21 when I did that first one.
I had already finished college. I'd already had a job. I'd already traveled Europe.
Yeah.
And then I was like, well, what the fuck am I going to do now?
Yeah.
I just thought I would just get jobs and work. I didn't really have a plan, but I wasn't very concerned about it.
No.
But it was really nice. Like I don't know if all of our kids' schools are going to be as open about letting people know that if you're actually want to make money, get a job and learn how to actually do something. Although I'd buy myself 4 years.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I'd go party for 4 years for sure.
Me too.
But you have to pass. Isn't that hard? I don't even know. I can't imagine university. At that age, now I could do university. I'm mature enough to learn now. But to sit in a class with a bunch of people and then independently have to do work, I never would have been able to do that.
Oh God, imagine last year when they didn't know about ChatGPT, but they got to use it, without the teachers knowing. And then because it's been around way longer than the teachers found out about it.
Question,
just so you know.
Last year when it came out and it was such a topic of whatever.
They have a software now where you apply it. Before you turn in your essay, it tells you the percentage of the fact that it could be ChatGPT, at least my kid's school. So before you turn it in, it's like, this is ChatGPT, try again. You're going to fail.
So it's a type, so it can be handwritten.
Yeah, but you're going to chat GPT and then handwrite it?
If it has to be handwritten.
Yeah, you could. But I think that if they can scan it and there's a whole thing now.
Oh, that's great. Because then I feel like it's kind of been solved. They're like, yeah, you can use it, but you can't use it too much.
Yeah, they're like,
that problem just got solved.
It's like the probability of this being ChatGPT is, so
everyone's so scared.
Yeah, no. Now it's like you are going to fail if you
done. And then they very much let everyone know that there's no human touch in GPT. There's no personal,
and it's not always right
tone.
So when I was thinking about the companies, and I thought about these people running them, I'm like, if I were you, I would go and listen. I would go and talk to the people. I'd go talk to both sides because we can see it changing. You and me we're living the change, and they're behind.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know what's coming, and the audience is changing, and they're doing it in an archaic system and losing so much money in a recession. When I see what people are doing, I'm like, and then you see the brands that are doing it right, and right away when a brand's doing it right, you're like, wow, you have a really good You're good. The other people, I'm like, you are just taking money and burning it. And
Burning
it's not
it.
yours, so you don't care.
No.
So you're like, I'm lazy. I'm not going to do, I'm not that lazy. I don't know and I don't want to know that. But if you're in marketing and you are not on every social media platform and know exactly how to use it,
you shouldn't have the job.
That's what you show me your socials.
Mm-hmm.
Show me how you do this,
Mm-hmm.
and then give me an idea. I don't care where you went to school. Show it to me.
Well, I'm just thinking like right now that so much of the youth and everything is on Snapchat, and we have never gotten a deal where it included and do they have a Snapchat?
Do we barely get a TikTok?
Yeah. I mean, it's gotten better.
But barely.
Yeah.
And we've had to encourage that.
Yeah.
And be like, you should be on TikTok.
Yeah. And so we are working on our Snapchat. So if you guys want to go check out Cat Nat on Snapchat, you'll see all the things.
Cat and Nats because someone has Cat and Nat.
Mm-hmm. But if you type in Cat and Nat, like it will come up.
Okay.
But and the people that we're working with, they are actually part of their job is to go and teach brands about how to incorporate Snapchat into the deals. So I was like, if we get a deal, are you comfortable going and talking to the client to build in and explain why we should have presence with their brand on Snapchat? She's like, yes, absolutely. That's what I'm here to do.
Yeah. Well, I've come to like 3 epiphanies recently, and one, someone in my yoga class today, which it wasn't yoga, but whatever.
She doesn't do yoga.
It really wasn't yoga. It was like bar. She said to me, she works in the government, and she said she was talking about AI and how the government is like sleeping on protecting children with like, the AI and social media as a whole. Just being like, they are not, they thought about it 3 years ago and they haven't done it.
Yeah.
So she's like, they're thinking of it comes to the table in March when we're hoping they actually do something about it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it just blows my mind. They can't filter in bad words or fights online.
Does she think the chances?
She's like,
probably not.
I said, here's the problem. I'm sorry, men. There's too many men running it, so they don't feel what it's like to be a woman. Like, it's all women who are getting AI bodies and being nudes passed around. And I'm like, it's women with children who are watching it, who are seeing this is a problem. And it doesn't directly affect them because the men running it most likely have no idea what we're even talking about. They're probably like, what? And I said,
it's like exactly like the boardroom in Barbie.
Yes. And then I thought it's like parents. And I said to her, the problem is what they're living is we can't even catch up because by the time we learn about what's happening, it's already the damage is done.
Yeah.
And there's been step A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And then everyone's like at H, A, B, C, D, G, H, yeah. H, they're like, oh, wait, you can't do that. Fucking A, B, it's already gone, babes. So I said to her, parents they don't even know where to begin.
No.
And I feel like brands are the same in marketing. And when I see
the one thing about brands, and when I was just thinking about the brands that when we're like, oh, they get it. Usually, either they're in-house, so they actually care more because they're closer to like the CEO or the president. So it matters more and money isn't just thrown that way. Or they're a small company or a startup because those people, their money really matters, every single dollar that they use. And people that are starting startups now are usually younger and more savvy because you're not going to go make an old school product right now. You got to be like, but what, it's so true. When a partner is good, you just know it. And we just did a deal with a partner that it
California
Naturals, which is, that was another thing that happened.
Owen Wilson.
So I wanted to find a funny movie for my son and I to watch, lighthearted. And I went and picked a movie. And in the ads, it did not show that Owen Wilson was in it.
And then he was in it.
And he was the main character in it, but it was like older. So he wasn't maybe like, I don't know, as famous or something. And I paused. I go, no fucking way. Because we just finished doing a video with him. And I pull it up and I said to my son, I go, look at this. And he's like, that's the same guy. I'm like, yep. He's like, oh, that's that really funny, famous guy. I'm like, yep. What are the chances he's in this movie that I just randomly chose? Things like that.
Yeah, no, I you can tell right away. I'm like, wow, you get it. And
you can tell that even when they because when you send in something, sometimes people are like that, a couple of companies, but you send in what they asked you to do and they're like, perfect. We're just happy that your name is attached to it. However you want to do it, go.
Yeah.
And then you can also tell if they do get some edits, the edits are fucking reasonable and make sense. But if they come back,
it's like what if you're hiring a brand and we've built like millions and millions of people on a social media, why would you not be like, guys, what's going to work? Why would you think that your way is going to work? That's like going into my house and trying to make a dinner that my kids are going to like, knowing without ever knowing them or talking to them, and then assuming that you know where everything is and you know how to open the cupboards and that it's going to go flawlessly. It's not.
And you know what's funny is that lately a brand reached out to us, and they have hired like a PR marketing agency to do their deals, and we're on the verge of, if we're going to do like a deal that we care about and we like, we want to let them know how we want to work. So we actually offered to come to their agency and give them examples of how something would work, which is so valuable. It would be crazy if I was those people. Even if we had no intention of doing a deal, I would take their information. They were like, your time is very valuable, and like, thank you so much for the offer, but basically we just kind of want to know what your budget would be. Like, I'm like, you just missed out on the free consulting. Oh, and that's another thing is that I think what my friend had said recently with all these companies, the recession going under, and they're putting all this money, they're actually hiring individual consultants. So that one consultant,
I would hire if I was a company or like a marketing firm, I would hire creators 100% to consult with to what's coming, because the most people who are successful are consuming what they're creating. And someone said, like, how do you know? And I said, because you have to consume to create. Like we like to consume content, and that's how you know what's coming and what's changing and what's going to be different. Because if you don't, you stay, we would be the same of how we were.
So an example would be like, I don't know what to wear, and I feel like Kat always knows like a brand of something, or like fashion stuff. I feel like she's got her finger on the pulse, and I'm like, how the fuck do you know? And she consumes fashion content. And I can see some of the followers that you're following, you're looking at their accessories, you're looking at their clothes, and you're interested in it, and so you're consuming it.
And also I helped consult a brand recently on the weekend, one of my husband's wives, and she was like, and I said to her, I'm like, here's the thing, what you're doing right now, you can't do it, because the people who are on Instagram linking everything and it's like this, I said, they're changing how it's working. So what you're doing is not conforming to how they've changed it. So I'm like, yeah, they got to get on what they're doing. She's like, she wanted to do something with that. And I said, why? Like, I stopped and like, why do you want to do this? What do you think this is going to get you? And then she's like this. I said, and it's going to get you nothing. I said, and I went through with her, and I was like, I'm going to be honest with you. Let's go. And I said, are you watching all of what is happening right now? And I said, if you don't change, if you can't keep, Instagram is no longer a magazine. You gotta make it easy. You gotta send the links. You gotta send the thing.
And this is the hard part. For a lot of people who want to start a business, you want to have your own business, you want to be your own boss, you've got what you think is a great idea. If you're not like kind of like obsessed in the category, then you're never going to know as much. As people always say, like, how did it work for you? How did you guys get here? There are millions of like moms out there that wanted to grow, and I mean, we can't even imagine. There's so many you don't see, right? Because looks like a great job. Even our kids are like, my son said, you have the best job. You get to hang out with your best friend and have a job. And I'm like, yes. And
consuming, marketing,
being upset. How did we become successful in this? Because it was naturally an interest.
Yeah,
it's naturally an interest to hang out together. It's naturally an interest.
We also listen to our audience. We listen to our community when they're like, "Can you guys do your recipes?" Okay, we'll do them because you guys have asked multiple. Yes, you're giving us a clue rather than being like, we don't do that. Sure, we'll try it.
Because you have to listen to the people, because they're going to let you know. And when there's a lot of people, then there's going to be a lot of. And I know that like, what is it, like 90% of businesses don't succeed. Even when you see like a restaurant pop up and you go and you're like, this isn't going to work. Don't you know what people are doing now?
And then when
we
someone's
have
like,
to see if that
can I
restaurant's
see
still
your
there.
analytics on like a product? And I'm like, which one? Because if you could give me diapers, no, they're probably not going to click through and buy them. You give me a pair of wide leg sweatpants, we'll sell 3,000 of them. Like what, like
And-
you want an analytic for a product that might not even be good, that people like.
And also, like, sometimes things change so fast that we might be able to sell like a product, 1 million of this product this week because we know people are wearing it, using it, trying it, and it's hot. But next week it could
gone.
be something else.
And brands are just like sleeping on it.
I'm so glad I don't have like a
I'm actually really proud of us too, by the way. We said no. We said no recently, this past week. We said no, we're not doing that to a brand. We didn't try to make it work.
Yeah.
We said, nope. You know what? It's not going to work. We're not taking like this product. This is not going to work for us.
And you know that that's another thing is that people are like, how do you decide what you're going to do and what you're not going to do and who you want to partner with and who you reach out to?
We try to make everybody work because I do believe there's a way you can make it work. But when they become to get difficult, I'm like, it's not I'm
difficult.
Like,
or if it's a product that we literally would not want our best friend to spend money on.
Yeah.
We
like, this
love
isn't
to
gonna
try
work.
different things though. Don't get us wrong.
And if they're terrible brand partners, I'm like, this isn't going to work. You know, we knew. So, God, we've gone way over, but wow.
Oh, really? But anyways, we're going to look back at this time. Just, we're going to be like people that they're finally going to catch up.
I think
yes, they will. They always do. It's kind of like there was no video before.
I feel like the gap is, if you're a brand, it's getting wider and bigger. It is when I see what the ask is, or how much money people are making doing such a shitty job in like the marketing and advertising world. I'm like this, like it blows my mind. Mind blown, and how much more efficient they could do it. I mean, we said that about commercials too. Anyways, we'll see y'all next week. I'll link the book for you guys too. I'll finish it and then I'll give you the recap of how you can unlock your hidden potentials.